trust distributes assets to beneficiaries outright, but then you're going to have all of these restrictions that are somehow magically going to happen. It can't work like that. Abracadabra, alakazam, make this trust magic and a perfect estate plan. If you're just getting started on researching estate planning and the concept of trust, there are several misconceptions you need to eliminate immediately. Today, we're going to walk through 5 rookie beliefs that are immediately dispelled when you make even a surface level examination of trusts. Hopefully, by the time we're done with this video, you'll see trusts for what they are: specific tools for specific jobs that can give you a better plan than most people have, but they are not magic boxes. Number one, the biggest rookie belief is that you can have a trust and it's going to give you complete control, but complete protection. Now, the big thing is complete protection from what? People want to control everything during life, but they want everything in trust to be immune from lawsuits. Trusts can be immune from lawsuits, but there has to be a major loss of control and ownership. Basically, if you're being dragged into court and you want to be able to say, hey, these assets are in trust, and therefore, court and person suing me, you can't get to these assets, it's because you have given up that control to someone else, someone independent. You can't just give it to your spouse and say, oh, look, my spouse is there, so now you can't get our stuff. No, it doesn't work like that. And also, in many states and cases, you can't even put your own assets directly into an irrevocable trust, and someone else as a trustee can have that kind of protection over it. So, the closest thing that we have found is a domestic asset protection trust. They're not valid in all states, but it can be pretty easy to go ahead and kind of wave in under those state laws for a trust. We've got some videos on that, and we'll make sure we're going to link that below.
If you think it's important for educational videos like this to get out there, then please help us out by subscribing to the channel.
Second big rookie belief that's out there about trusts is that trust distributes assets to beneficiaries outright, but then you're going to have all of these restrictions that are somehow magically going to happen. It can't work like that. It would be as if I gave you $100 and it's your $100. You can do whatever you want with it. And then a week later, you tell me, hey, I spent that $100 gambling. Well, you can't do that. You need to get that $100 back, and you can only spend it on this, and you have to do this, and you can't do that. No, once it's gone and outright, that's it. I had a conversation recently with someone who wanted to get their estate plan in order, put together their trust, and what they wanted to do was leave a plot of land over to one of their sons or their grandson, and hey, I want them to be able to have this and use it, but I want to protect it in case there's a divorce. I want to make sure that they can only use it for this. They can't use it for this. They have to allow access to these other family members to this, but I want to give it to them outright. No. Once it leaves the confines of the trust, and it's no longer a trust where the trustee has the control to enforce all of those provisions, look, it's their property. So you can't use some trust to, again, magically just go ahead and give it out to a beneficiary, and then they have all of these restrictions and other things, and there isn't a mechanism to enforce it. Now, when you talk about real estate, might be an exception. You can draft the deed with certain restrictions, but now you're talking about people having to have a lawsuit to enforce those restrictions down the road. Most of the reasons for my clients, somewhere among them, when they come to me and they want to do a trust, they want to avoid court getting involved in anything that's going on, because they understand and know it's expensive, it's time consuming, it's frustrating, and no one should have to do that. So you need to make sure you've got this mentality, you've got this understanding that once trust distribute an asset out, free and clear of trust, that's pretty much it. Third big rookie belief: I want to gift assets out of my taxable estate into a trust for a beneficiary. So, in other words, it's no longer on my balance sheet. It can't be taxed for estate taxes when I pass on. But I want to control the trust. I want to gift them over. I want to make sure that the beneficiaries have to do this. I want to be able to change the beneficiaries. I want to be able to do this. And no, no, no. Once it's out of you, it's off your balance sheet, it's into the trust, it's for those beneficiaries, you're pretty much done. Now, there are some fine lines here where you can have some control. And an attorney that I know and work with, we're kind of going through some of this stuff right now. She has a client that wants to gift assets for the grandchildren so that it's off their balance sheet. They are in an area where they're probably going to have some estate taxes if their investing keeps going up the way it goes. They want it for their grandchildren. So go ahead, I want it off my balance sheet. But what they want to do is control the investments, because what they want to do is work with that grandchild, one trust for each of them, work with the grandchild, teach them about investing, have them make some decisions and see what the consequences are, or tell them why things are a bad idea and just work with them. You can kind of do that, except this person, the one who's giving it to the grandchild, the grandfather, they can't be the trustee, but they can be something like an investment manager. So the trustee can have given up that control over the investing portion for the beneficiary. But there are a couple of things that they absolutely can't do, and that's change the beneficiary, decide on distributions to that grandchild. They can't control it to that point. They can only work with the grandchild and, under the auspices of the trustee, help with the investing of those assets. That's about it. So you can't have control as a trustee, but still get it out of your taxable estate. And this is a big concept that a lot of people don't understand. That, look, when we're talking about using a trust to avoid probate, we're talking about how are things titled. You can technically give up title, but still be taxed on things. And this is the big thing with a revocable living trust. When it comes to taxes, it's still all you. Taxation is based on control, not just title. So, if you're moving something into a trust and you're retaining all of the authority to do whatever you want, but it's just under a different name, you're not going to get that out of your taxable estate. It's going to be yours as if you controlled it directly. All right, so what's the fourth big rookie mistake or rookie belief? I want to put assets into an irrevocable trust and have it off my balance sheet for Medicaid. But I want to be the trustee and I want to be the beneficiary. I want to give myself assets whenever I want and pay for things when I want. But I want all of this stuff off my balance sheet. No, no, no. It doesn't work like that. Now, it's not a magic box, but there are some ways, but you really, really, really have to trust the trustee that they're going to be able to take money out, kind of put it in their own pocket, but then they're going to turn around and give it to you. So this is usually why, when we're doing a type of Medicaid planning and we have irrevocable trusts involved, we've got one of the very most trusted children as the trustee. They can take the money out, put it into a checking account, and then turn around and pay for things for mom and dad, or give them the money directly. But in that trust, the trustee has the ability to say no. But the thing is, once you move those assets in, I say 5 years and a month later, that's it. It's as if it didn't exist for Medicaid purposes. So having Medicaid pay for that long-term care and using these irrevocable trusts, yeah, you've got that 5-year look back period, but you don't get to control things at that point. All right. So you can't just have like an attorney sprinkle holy water on the document and suddenly it's going to repel Medicaid personnel. Now, again, we're talking about, do you have sufficient control over those assets or title to them where Medicaid would turn around and say, yeah, you own this. You're going to need to spend this down. It's a countable asset. All right. So, what is the fifth rookie belief? You can get everything that you want. In other words, all these things that we talked about that you believed you could magically get with a trust, even if there's some areas and loopholes, hey, I can just get all of this stuff. The attorney said I could. I want this all really, really custom, and it's going to be cheap. Look, there are prices out there. It all depends on the market. It all depends on the attorney, their skill level, what they're getting you. But the fact is, you can't just kind of take a trust off a shelf, have and want all of these uncommon things, like the gentleman who wanted to gift assets to their grandchild, but build in that they can be the asset manager and specifically put in here are the restrictions. The investment manager specifically can't do that in order to make sure it gets off their balance sheet. You're not going to get that for just the average price of that particular kind of gifting trust. Because usually once it's gifted, it's done. A very common way of doing this is you gift something to the grandchild, and maybe you're putting the parents, maybe in succession, or other children of yours in as that trustee. So you're walking away from it. The money is out of your estate. It's going to that grandchild, but there are other people who are going to be in charge of it until they reach whatever the age of inheritance is. You're walking away from it. No, you can have those investment manager provisions put in, but it's not going to be for the price that you get for some average trust. So don't think that you can like walk onto a car lot. Here's the most basic car, and you want all of these upgrades. I want the leather seats. I want the extra powerful engine. I want to make sure we've got this self-driving mode. I want this special GPS thing and this special audio system, whatever, and still get it for the baseline cost of a car. You can't do that. All right. So I hope you found that information useful. Now, we do have a free ebook that's out there, estate planning ebook.com, that talks just a little bit about the basics of estate planning that helps people get started. We also have my free online course at freetrustcourse.com. But then we also have some more advanced stuff that you can really start to dig into things. And we're going to be updating this in the very near future at estatecrashcourse.com. All right. So please take this information. If you get a chance, please like, subscribe, comment below, share this video with someone who needs to see this. And as I always tell my clients, please stay safe, plan ahead, and enjoy life. And whatever you do, make it a great day.